most beautiful songs that was ever written. It was really the first time somebody has taken the
It's hard to overstate how important heart and soul are to a game's longevity. It imbues peaceful moments with a sense of immersion and gives a proper weight and gravity to those times not spent in combat. It gives players a sense of camaraderie, and friendship is fostered easily in a community that's well taken care of by a development team. A development team that cares for their people and works hard to make sure that the gamers that continue to keep its game alive keep enjoying the product that they've spent time to create. Rock Galactic is a 4-player sci-fi co-op shooter taking place in a procedurally generated and fully destructible alien planet inhabited by a range of vicious native life. While leaning on the trope of rowdy, pick-swinging alcoholics, Danish studio Ghost Ship Games has subverted the format of stereotypical dwarven mountain kingdoms of high fantasy, instead answering the question few asked, well, what if they had spaceships? The game features 4 classes, each with their own equipment pools, upgrades, and side crates. The Scout class focuses on quick traversal and objective identification, with its flare gun and grappling hook tempting dwarves to boldly go where no dwarf has gone before, and quickly. After quite a bit of experimentation, I found that mobility is a drug, and it's one that I just can't quite seem to get enough of. It pairs well with the turret-deploying engineer, whose gun-launched polymer platforms enable quick mining of veins lining the lofty ceilings of the procedurally generated caverns. When mining en masse is necessitated, the driller class plies dual arm-mounted drills and chews through solid rock, often cutting shortcuts through the cave systems. Oftentimes, the driller's ability to create tunnels will be one of the fastest and safest ways to reach the dropship, making it invaluable to extracting on higher difficulties. But with lucrative metals and minerals comes menace, and none can better cut down swaths of bugs wholesale than the gunner class, whose minigun easily chews through the intimidatingly large health bars of dreadnoughts and other bosses. Gathering-based progression systems present enhancements to your dwarves and their equipment, and with an abundance of materials available to collect in each level, there is little in the way of grind, with most material requirements filled by the time an upgrade is made available. While there are a few overpowered upgrade choices available, overall the health of the meta is in a good place, with all classes and 90% of builds finding viability and use commonly from early to late game. Much of your time before and between missions will be spent on board the space station with a robot bartender and a barrel-kicking minigame to keep you entertained. The menus all have physical tie-in locations in the hub, which gives the game an immersive feeling, but at the same time has the inherent drawback of time spent navigating disparate menus. That said, the division of separate menus does much to remedy analysis paralysis, giving you bite-sized pieces of information when it is relevant, and keeping it out of your way when it's not. When booting up a mission, you will first be prompted to select a sector of Hoxie's 4 and then a mission within that sector. Each sector has a unique feel with a variety of enemies and obstacles that are exclusive to certain sections of the planet, as well as upgrade materials that can be found in that sector. The available zones change on a timer, and new missions are populated with randomized objectives and modifiers, keeping gameplay fresh from day to day for the more veteran crowd. Although the game has only a dozen or so objective types, few players grouse over lack of content or freshness. A mountain of gameplay modifiers randomly imposed on missions and even whole sectors keep the game fresh in a way that many other developers fall short of. With new enemy types or even the encroachment of rival mining corporations, gameplay remains new and exotic from run to run. While including basic fetch or kill quests, the varied objectives are often paired with a secondary objective, often worth half as much as the main objective itself, at the risk of a greater amount of time spent in one of the myriad hellholes that dot Hoxie's 4. Ghost Ship Games rarely slacks off with regards to detail. When a mission has been selected and the dwarves have lined up in the drop shuttle, which is little more than an oversized drill with a cabin on the back, The loading screen and introduction to each mission retains that sense of immersion, with the player taking control of their dwarf from the inside of the drop shuttle, the grinding of the drill clamoring through the cabin. The drill comes to a lurching stop, and out tumble four well-armed dwarves with picks in their hands, morkite in their eyes, and greed in their hearts. The opening and closing of each mission brings heart-poundingly frantic tension, and the entourage effect of all of the tiny details confer a credulity any other game about spacefaring fantasy races may lack. Some of the most iconic moments and experiences that I have garnered from my time spent playing the game takes advantage of these details and the attention the developer has paid to them. The challenge of a menacing dreadnought, its armor repelling every shot, the tension built in trying to exfil with mere moments and scraps of health to spare, or the satisfaction of overcoming a particularly dangerous cave system with ingenuity and creativity. The player base is loyal, and for good reason. The game has flaws, yes, but it has a soul where other developers have instilled greed in its place. Though the player base is limited and finds less critical success than games like Left 4 Dead 2, it succeeds where games like Destiny 2 or Back 4 Blood fail, when a Skinner box of a game can quickly wear thin its welcome, all the while paring back the very detail and heart that gave it success in the first place. Rock Galactic continues to release free patches as well as seasonal updates and battle passes, but nearly all of the cosmetics can be earned through gameplay. This activity and developer attention still draws new fans and players, and although early access began in 2018, with a full release following in 2020, the game has reportedly sold over 4 million copies as of June 2022. I rarely find games that I come back to as often as Rock Galactic, but with such a loving community as well as constant updates, patches, and bug fixes, it's hard to stay away from such an addictive gameplay loop. Give it a shot. The game just celebrated its 5th anniversary, and player counts are peaking. While Space Dwarfs are a hard sell for some, the mechanics of the game and trustworthiness of the developer make the purchase a wise investment in your own entertainment. Thanks again for tuning into my channel, and keep an eye out for more scripted videos coming soon. I've just begun moving towards this type of content, so like and subscribe if you want to see more. Dead Game Keen, out.